We rely on our devices so much these days. They are our new daytimers, our address books, our bank cards, our photo albums. And the question of what happens when someone finds your lost cell phone is a big one. Well, it's a question information security firm Symantec posed in something called the Smartphone Honeystick Project, an experiment that involved losing smartphones in high traffic areas. So we're learning what happened after 60 phones were left behind in 6 cities across Canada, including Halifax, with Dale Zabriskie, who's a security expert with Symantec Corporation, also known as Dr. Z. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, wow, you lose these cell phones, but of course you don't really lose them. You know where they are. You can track them, right? That's the idea.
We put 60 phones together, and then in Halifax, Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary, Toronto, and Vancouver, drop them in, as you said, high traffic locations. But we put on them not only tracking information, but personal photos, email, contacts, corporate information. File says HR salaries, HR applications, login screens for remote access is what it looks like, to see what people would do when they received those phones. But there's one thing that we did not put on there.
Right? What's that?
A password.
Okay.
And so it was open to whoever.
So it was pretty easy for whoever found it to then take a look. So what's the idea? Like, why would you want to do this? What do you want to know?
Well, it's a matter of the fact that over the past 5 years, cell phones, or smartphones as we like to call them, have infiltrated everyone's life, right? Men notice that their phone is missing before their wallet's missing because of pockets, right? It's part of our lives. It's so ingrained in our lives that the corporate world has started to merge with the personal world. We take these phones to work, we get access to email, we get access to corporate resources. And so, since they're so prevalent, what would people do? Is we see them all the time, right? We see these phones, somebody gets off the bus or the train, and most people are like, hey, you know, here's your phone.
Here's your phone.
But we wanted to see what would happen, and this is the third study that we've done. We did one in North America, South America, and now here strictly in Canada.
Wow. So what happened?
The findings are very consistent. 93% of the phones were all found, first of all. 93% of the phones were accessed. Most of the people accessed, 83% accessed some personal information. 63% of the people accessed corporate information.
Really? Ooh.
And yet only half, a little over half, and I will say the Canadians did a little better on this score than some of the other tests that we ran. A little over half of the people even attempted to return the phone because it was very clear. There's a name and an email
you made
address.
it easy to find out like whose phone it was.
Exactly.
And so, but only a little over half tried to return the phone.
55%.
Wow. So when it comes to the personal information that people were most interested in, what were the types of things they were looking at?
They were looking at photos, they were looking at contacts, they were looking at social networking sites. You know, this idea of what privacy means in the world today is very, very different. It's just, we put so much of our life out there on these social sites. And so I think most people are generally like, who does this belong to? I better get this back to them. But then they're waiting and they go, well, this is interesting here. Yeah, and they go here and go here and go here. We had one phone in Calgary that individual called and tried to return the phone, and then we tracked it for another 4 days as it traveled all around Calgary.
They just carried it around.
And they accessed all sorts of different things here and there.
Oh my gosh. What about corporate information? Would people look up like business information?
That's exactly right. And there were things on there that were, concerned about privacy, confidential information around human resources and different things like that. So the point is, the device in our world is becoming more and more irrelevant. We move from device, we have multiple devices. It's the information that's critical. And the other factor is, even though you may think on my phone, well, who cares what's on my phone? Often, especially in a corporate setting, these phones are vectors or ways to get into more critical pieces of information.
Exactly. So what should you do if you've lost your phone or if you have a smartphone? I guess A, have a password on it.
Thank you.
Password protection.
A, have a password, and the password should not be 1111 or 1234. I'm sorry, Heidi, you're going to have to change yours.
And the longer the better.
The longer the better. The longer the better. That from a cracking the password type thing, the longer the password is, the harder it is for people, even though it may have special characters and numbers and things like that. So, you know, people are impatient. They don't want to sit there and go. But a password, if that's the least that you do, very, very important. Depending on the type of phone you have. If you have an Android phone, which is really the market leader as far as number of phones in the market today, you need to have security software that protects it from malware and attack.
Okay.
Now,
Just like your
iPhones
computer.
are a little different, the way that they're created and the way the function works. But Androids, Windows phones, those need to have specific security software on them because they're much more prevalent to be attacked by the applications that we're downloading at a very, very fast rate. You need to back up your data so that the device can be disposable and that you have the core. And there's many ways to do that.
You can have a cloud.
You can have a cloud, you can have it on your laptop,
computer,
exactly. And so what our suite of software allows you to do is to not only back it up, not only to secure it and manage passwords, but should it be lost, gives you the remote capability of blocking the device or what we call bricking the device to make it not function at all.
Yeah, that's it. Shut it down.
Right.
Oh, you can
or
do
you
that.
you can call the individual, call the phone, and see somebody answers, you know, Joe's Bar and Grill, or you say, okay, well, now I know. So there's some other things that you can do to remotely control your life. But the most important thing is your information. And that's what people need to realize, that it's critical for their lives and for the corporate.
Very important, very eye-opening study. Thank you so much for coming in to talk about
pleasure.
this. Wow, don't lose your cell phone. Have a password.
That's right.
Oh, so many things to keep track of.